G Money's mom spoke about it, you feel me? She said he's not the actual shooter, he's just charged with accessory, you feel me?
But here's
one of those individuals, Kentrell Galden, better known as rapper NBA YoungBoy.
NBA's alleged top hitter just got picked up on 10 counts of attempted murder, and this situation is heating up fast. This arrest could seriously shake YoungBoy's entire circle. Lil Pap, the same guy accused in the G Money situation, who beat that case and walked free after 5 years, is now back in cuffs. And this time, the feds are watching closely, trying to figure out who's really been calling plays behind the scenes. This isn't just another neighborhood feud gone wrong. People are whispering this could turn into a full-blown RICO that puts the whole NBA camp under the microscope. And OT Lil Pap wasn't some background character either. He was known as YoungBoy's most loyal soldier, the type to move first and ask questions later. But here's the twist. Pap was never truly family, more like the crash dummy kept around to handle the messiest jobs when things got ugly. His latest arrest didn't just remove another alleged shooter from the streets, it cracked open how the NBA camp supposedly operates. Now rumors are swirling that the feds finally have enough to start connecting YB to multiple incidents.
We finally got some type of answer, you feel me? NBA Lil Pap has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for killing G Money after accepting a plea deal, you feel me?
But to understand how this spiraled, we've got to rewind back to Baton Rouge, mid-2000s. Back then, the city felt like a battleground, crews fighting for territory, respect, survival. OTS Lil Pap grew up on 46th and North Street, a block known as the Wreck, one of the wildest areas in BR. He wasn't chasing rap fame, he was deep in the streets from day one. And here's what matters. Pap was older than most of the NBA crew. While YoungBoy was still finding his sound, Pap was already moving serious weight in the streets. Fame and music weren't his priority, the trenches were. Baton Rouge had been bleeding from violence since the early 2000s, but when Lil Boosie started gaining buzz, the spotlight brought jealousy, tension, and more heat. The city split like a war map. You had TBG, Top Boy Gorillas, formed by Lil Ivy before he was killed in 2005. And on the other side, BBG, Bottom Boy Gorillas, their main rivals. Every block had alliances, and everybody wanted to prove who really ran it.
You feel me? It's like, it's a conspiracy in itself, you feel me? But 5 years for killing somebody? That's crazy. I mean, that's never heard of, you feel me?
But here's where things get interesting. Around 15 years old, NBA YoungBoy started hanging around G Money in the TBG camp. He was close with G Money's younger brother and soon recording in the same studios. This was before NBA was even a thing, just a kid chasing a dream. Lil Pap saw potential early. While most of Baton Rouge overlooked YoungBoy's music, Pap was pushing his name heavy around the city. Not because they were best friends, but because he recognized opportunity. He even introduced Scotty Kane to YB's music back when Scotty had more buzz. That move says a lot. Pap wasn't in it for passion, he saw business. While YoungBoy performed or locked into the booth, Pap played unofficial security. As Pap once said in an interview, "We ain't got no money for security, so I gotta make sure nothing happens to him." That was the mindset. Their bond wasn't childhood loyalty, it was mutual benefit. Pap saw YoungBoy as a ticket out, and YoungBoy needed protection in a city where shining too bright could get dangerous fast. Pap made sure nobody got too close.
But then again, G Money's mom spoke about it, you feel me? She said he's not the actual shooter, he's just charged with accessory, you feel me?
But here's the real angle. Pap's loyalty to NBA looked solid, but it was strategic. He believed YoungBoy was the one who could elevate the crew, so he stepped into the enforcer role. Sources close to the situation described Pap as the one who'd move first if tensions rose. If NBA had smoke, Pap alleged handled it. But Pap's position was different. While others were treated like family, Pap was more like muscle, respected, paid, useful, but not fully inside the decision-making circle.
everything shifted when YoungBoy's relationship with TBG fell apart. He reportedly felt overlooked and undercredited. The tension grew fast. That's when he cut ties and launched NBA with OG33 and a few trusted allies. Before the split, YoungBoy dropped Life Before Fame under TBG. After forming NBA, he came back with Mind of a Menace, and that's when the friction turned public. Diss records, subliminals, accusations of jealousy. The city knew the war between TBG and NBA was official. Then family got involved. YoungBoy's cousin Illa was tied to BBG, who had long-standing issues with TBG. Rumors even claimed Illa once spoke about harming YoungBoy, and G-Money allegedly rapped about protecting YoungBoy from his own blood. That's how deep it went.
You know how everybody took a plea deal at Young Thug case, got less time or then time served or probation, you feel me? What if the cop tried to build a case for NBA and YoungBoy for a RICO case, you feel me?
By 2016, Baton Rouge felt different. The tension wasn't subtle anymore. It was war energy. On November 2nd, 2016, Illa was killed after issues with a man named Disa, reportedly linked to a crew close to TBG. Once Illa died, the streets exploded with rumors about retaliation. Within hours, YoungBoy and two associates allegedly rode through rival territory, firing shots at individuals they believed were involved. Reports even claimed YoungBoy was hanging out the window with a rifle during the incident. In the exchange, his friend YoungBoy Joe was struck in the neck. Just hours after losing his cousin, YoungBoy was outside, and Pop was reportedly right there. The message? NBA wasn't backing down. But the real headline moment came next: G-Money. G wasn't just another rival. He and YoungBoy came up together under TBG. He helped boost YoungBoy early on, but once YB launched NBA, that friendship unraveled fast. Tensions escalated when G responded to YB's disses while YoungBoy was dealing with legal trouble. G linked with Pablo El Chapo to drop WNBA Smoke, then teamed up with Scotty Kane on Ain't Gonna Ride. That's when it became undeniable. This was personal.
And God forbid that happens, you feel me? But let's think about it, you feel me? He accepted a plea deal, you feel me? Get less time served. Same thing with a Young Thug case, you feel me? It's kind of...
The feud ran deeper than music. Allegations surfaced that G had been involved with YoungBoy's sister back when they were cool. When things soured, G reportedly aired it out publicly. That crossed a line. YoungBoy fired back on tracks. G initially stayed quiet until he didn't. In a now infamous Say Cheese interview, G openly spoke about the situation, referencing YoungBoy's sister and dismissing the tension. He went live frequently, throwing shots and revealing his location in real time, Risky in Baton Rouge. Then he dropped Industry, accusing YoungBoy of switching up after fame. He even mentioned YoungBoy's mother by name and lyrics, something the city couldn't ignore. A week later, he remixed Bodak Yella and doubled down. Lives, warnings, threats, the tension hit boiling point. On September 9, 2017, G-Money went to a studio on Dallas Drive to record a feature. Earlier that day, he'd been helping his pregnant partner move into a new home. It seemed like progress, but that night changed everything. Around 11 p.m., after wrapping his session, gunfire erupted outside the studio. G-Money was shot and pronounced dead at the scene. His friend Fat Chapo reportedly found him and called 911. The area was quickly taped off. Baton Rouge felt the loss immediately. Rumors later claimed NBA had placed a bounty on G. Some even alleged YoungBoy's manager Big Dump made the call. Those claims were never officially confirmed, but they fueled the narrative. Within months, authorities charged Lil Pap with second-degree murder. Prosecutors argued he was inside the vehicle connected to the shooting, but they couldn't prove he fired the weapon. The case relied on surveillance, cell data, witness accounts.
no weapon, no direct footage. Pap maintained his innocence. Even figures close to G, including Fredo Bang, publicly stated Pap wasn't the shooter. But in Baton Rouge, perception moves faster than proof. And whether Pap pulled the trigger or not, with Dirty Glove Bastard, Fredo didn't hesitate. He flat out said he believed Pap was innocent and that the real killer was still walking free. But somebody had to wear it, and Pap was the easiest target. Let's be honest, Pap already had the image. NBA's enforcer, the guy who handled street business without blinking. So when detectives started lining up suspects, his name slid right into their storyline. To them, they looked the part, even if the evidence wasn't airtight. The streets were glued to the case. Pap sat behind bars for 2 full years before trial even started. And while he was locked up, the NBA versus TBG war only escalated. Shootings, retaliation, tension everywhere. Baton Rouge felt like open combat, and everyone knew G Money's death had sparked something that wasn't dying down anytime soon. By 2019, Pap took a plea deal, 5 years for accessory after the fact. For someone staring at a murder charge, that sounded light, too light. The whispers started immediately. Did he trade information, or was the state's case weaker than they let on? Pap insisted he never cooperated. He said he took the deal because Louisiana courts don't play, and risking trial could have meant life. As he put it in interviews, 5 years on the table? I'm taking that. I'm from Iraq. Drop it down? I'm with that, even if I'm innocent.
He ended up serving about 3 years, split between state and federal time. According to Pap, he did his bid solid. No checking in, no PC, no folding. His paperwork was clean. No snitching, no names given. In prison politics, that matters, especially when plenty assumed he must have talked. Still, time wasn't easy. Pap admitted dudes tested him over the G-Money situation. Some wanted revenge, others just wanted to see if the name held weight. He got into fights, but stayed in general population the whole time. When he hit federal custody, it got even stricter. The feds run heavy politics. Paperwork gets checked. If you've cooperated, you're done. Pap says his file was clean, and that earned him respect, even from people who didn't rock with him. But outside those walls, Baton Rouge kept bleeding. In 2018, Big Dump, the same manager rumored to have put a bag on G-Money, was killed. The cycle didn't stop. Street Talk claimed TBG affiliates Lit Yoshi and Boulevard Quick retaliated for G's death. Quick and G were close, and when G died, Quick was locked up. Word is he stomped OG-33 in jail when he heard the news. When Quick got out, he jumped in the booth, sending shots at YoungBoy. But months later, in November 2018, Quick was shot and killed outside his apartment. Rumors said someone close to YB got the drop through a connection in the complex. Another life lost, another retaliation. The war just kept spinning. And the feds, they were watching. When Pap came home in 2024, people thought maybe he'd switch it up. He beat a murder case, did time, had a second shot. But instead of laying low, he jumped back in, going live, blasting YoungBoy tracks, talking heavy, posting from the same blocks where it all started, like nothing changed. He even launched his own label, OTS, Only the Shooters, but still moved like NBA's enforcer. Online beefs, threats, reckless talk. When Dallas rapper Montana 700 dissed YoungBoy, Pap immediately warned the whole Dallas scene not to play with YoungBoy while he was on tour. Then he clashed with Fredo Bang on Instagram, calling him clout hungry. Fredo responded, Pap didn't back down. Then came the breaking point. Pap saw a video of NBA Ben 10 with a black eye. He went live furious, saying anyone he calls brother, he's riding for. That energy told everyone he wasn't turning over a new leaf. Prison hadn't changed him. And then the real trouble hit. Police reports say Pap fired multiple rounds into a house during what they described as a domestic dispute. Broad daylight, innocent people inside.
This wasn't gang war, not NBA versus TBG, just emotions out of control. Authorities moved fast, 10 counts of attempted first-degree murder. In Louisiana, that's not minor. Each count carries 10 to 50 years. That's potentially 500 years. After surviving a murder case and doing time, he now faces a sentence that could end everything. And here's where it gets dangerous for NBA. The feds aren't just looking at one incident, they're studying the pattern, the bodies, the arrests, the names orbiting YoungBoy.
Because under RICO, they don't just need the trigger man, they need the structure. If prosecutors can argue NBA functions like an organization, with YB at the top and soldiers like Pap executing moves, it opens the door to a massive federal sweep. Pap stayed solid before, but facing life? That's pressure, the kind that tests loyalty. We've seen it before. YFN Lucci, Young Thug in YSL, rap crews caught up under RICO, and insiders say NBA's been on the radar for years. Pap's new charges give prosecutors fresh ammunition. They can paint a picture of a pattern, violence orbiting the same circle. And this highlights the bigger issue. When music and street politics mix, it becomes explosive. Rappers want protection and credibility, but keeping hitters close turns into a liability. Pap was never true family. Not blood, not business partner. He was muscle. And now that muscle is locked up, vulnerable. The feds love flipping people with inside knowledge, and Pap knows a lot. Who moved, who ordered, who benefited. From his perspective, he gave loyalty, freedom, years of his life. Now he's staring at a sentence that could bury him, while YoungBoy lives in mansions making millions. And the timing couldn't be worse. YoungBoy is already dealing with federal scrutiny. Having his former enforcer facing 10 attempted murder charges only strengthens the narrative prosecutors might want to build. The pattern is becoming harder to ignore. Current, the streets believe that night sent a message, crystal clear to anyone paying attention. The same faces keep getting locked up. The same names keep popping up whenever a shooting hits. First, it was Pap over G-Money. Then other NBA affiliates started getting nabbed in different cases. This isn't random anymore. It's a pattern. And in the federal system, patterns are exactly what they need to call it a conspiracy. That's how RICO works. Prosecutors don't need proof that the leader personally ordered every move. They just have to show the crew operates together, consistently pushing its goals through illegal activity. Line up enough incidents, tie enough people together, and boom, that's RICO territory. With NBA, the pattern's screaming too loud to ignore. Every few months another affiliate is dead or in custody, and the same street ties point straight back to the brand. Baton Rouge sees it clearly. The feds, though, they're waiting for the right moment to strike. When your top shooter gets arrested not once, but twice for major violent crimes, that's no coincidence. That's a signal. And the feds build cases off signals like that. Arrests, charges, headlines, all stacking up until it's no longer random. It's organized crime.
But behind the theories and street chatter, the real tragedy hits the community. Baton Rouge has been drowning in violence for decades. Stories like this keep the cycle spinning. Young men see Pap's story and think that's loyalty, catching bodies, risking it all, throwing your life away for someone who might not even care if you make it home. Same story on repeat. Street soldiers bleed while the top dogs get rich and protected. And the music industry isn't innocent either. Labels, blogs, streaming platforms profit off the chaos. They push the content, hype the beef, rake in millions, but when bodies drop or people go to prison, they vanish. The streets handle the fallout. Pap's downfall is more than a headline. It's a mirror. Crash dummies get glorified, leaders stay safe, and the cycle feeds itself. One body, one case, one RICO at a time. Labels and crews want authenticity and street cred, but they never want to deal with the human cost. Even if Pap stays quiet, his arrest alone tarnishes NBA's image. It proves violence follows the movement everywhere. That's exactly the kind of evidence prosecutors love for a RICO build. And for YoungBoy, the timing couldn't be worse. He's been working to clean up his image, focusing on music, family, trying to move past chaos. But now his former enforcer is locked up on 10 counts of attempted murder. That street drama hits his doorstep all over again. One thing's certain, this story isn't over. Feds are watching, the streets are buzzing, and everyone's waiting to see who falls next. In Baton Rouge, loyalty only stretches so far. Once life sentences hit, even the toughest start thinking about their options. Will this be a wake-up call for the next generation? Will they see Pap's story and finally understand that being a crash dummy isn't worth freedom or life? Or will they chalk it up to bad luck and think they can do it better? Sadly, history says the latter. The streets always recruit replacements. Young dudes will risk everything chasing clout, money, and respect, never realizing the price. They see the highlights, not the heartbreak.
That's the real story behind NBA YoungBoy's top shooter getting arrested. It's not just one man making bad decisions, it's a system built on violence and blind loyalty. And what happens when that system starts crumbling from the inside? For YoungBoy, this might be his biggest battle yet. The feds are patient but relentless. They've been watching every arrest, every shooting, every body drop, piecing it together, move by move, building a case that could shake the whole camp to its core. When they strike, it won't be slow, it'll be swift, loud, and devastating. Pap's arrest might just be the first domino, the one that sets the entire line tumbling. Because when crash dummies face life behind bars, loyalty turns into luxury and survival becomes everything. That's when the real game begins. If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, share this story, and drop a comment. What do you think? Is this the end of NBA street empire, or just another chapter in Baton Rouge's wildest saga?